What's up, guys? Check close here with CCGaming, and today we're going to do some spawning of the enemies in this tutorial series. So let's just jump right in. To spawn, we're going to be using instantiate, just like how we did the flash in the previous episode. We are going to have one main spawner and then spawn points throughout the map, and you'll just be able to put those into an array variable, which I'll be showing you, in your main spawner, and then it'll randomly pick a point within a certain area, and we will determine that. So let's just jump in, let's get started. So let's just create an empty, and this will be called our spawner. Alright, and then we'll just center this. Oh, we won't center it, we'll put it up. And one thing we're going to do is we're going to add a little tag to it. So that way, if we ever want to click it, it's an empty, we can actually just see it. So that's nice. We'll just go ahead and duplicate this, and we'll just call this one spawn point. And instead of doing this yellow full ball, we'll just do a yellow dot. So this is gonna determine a spot, a spawn spot. So we want this up 1, because as you can see, our enemies are 1. It can be a little bit above 1, but, and then we'll put them over here for right now. So let's go ahead and make our spawning script. Spawn enemies, spawn. Alright, and we'll just go ahead and attach that to our spawner. We're going to declare our spawn points, and this is going to be a transform array. So how we do that is we just add the brackets at the end, and that will work for that. Next thing, we're just gonna do, this is gonna be a temporary var. We're not actually going to, we'll probably get rid of this, and just gonna be spawn. It's just gonna be for testing purposes, and it's gonna be false. So if spawn, we're going to do the spawn function. Oops. And spawn equals false. So it's just so in the inspector we can make it spawn manually. We'll make it automatic after we get it all working. Alright, so we need to declare a function spawn. And another thing we need to do is we need to get our enemy prefab, which is a transform. What else do we need? That should work for right now. So if we spawn, we're going to instantiate enemy prefab. So we can just go ahead and go to our player move and copy this instantiate, because it's already done for us. And for this transform, we can do quarterine identity, which I don't know how to spell. Let's see if that works. Nope. That's not. Alright, so here we go. Quarterine. Identity. Go ahead and copy that and just paste it right in. Alright, and we're going to change this to enemy undercase, and then we're going to change our prefab to the enemy prefab, and then our spawn position is going to be in a position variable that we're going to define right for it, which is a vector 3. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we need to figure out the position. And the position, how we're going to do that is simply pick a random number. So var random, actually we don't even have to do that. We can do position equals spawn points, and then we're going to do a random range, and the random range is going to be from 0 to how many spawn points there are. So spawn points dot length. Alright, and then we're going to get the particular position out of that. Now we're gonna want to offset it a little bit and make it a little more random within the spawn point. And actually, I'm going to do this so I know the spawn point. And then replace this with random. Alright? We want it to be randomly spawned within a certain distance of this. So we're gonna use a random inside unit circle call. So we're gonna do var random offset, and this is gonna be a vector 2, and it's gonna equal random dot inside unit circle. Leave. So let's see if this script throws any errors real quick. Looks like it's all good. All right. So position.x is going to be equal, or we're going to add our random offset times, we're going to times it by our spawn points scale, right, of the x. And what this is going to do is we'll be able to use our spawn points and have different spawning radiuses depending on what the map looks out like, so it's just more adaptable. So we can just copy that, make sure that's x, and this is going to be y, but this position is going to be z. Alright? And that's good. So it should spawn an enemy. Oh, let's see. Scale. Just local scale, I believe, actually. Alright, there we go. So we have our main spawner script with our spawn points. We're going to change the size to 1, and then we're just going to drag our spawn point into there and our enemy prefab over there. Alright, so now if we click our spawn button, we can see it spawns an enemy within a random distance. You can see the distance isn't that big. So what we can do is in the spawn point, we can just put it to say 3. So now when we spawn another one, you can see it's a lot farther away. So we can just keep that at 3 for right now. Alright, so now if we make a couple of them and kind of put them all over the place, I can show you how the random comes in. So go back to our main spawner, make the size 4, drag all of them in to a different point, and go ahead and play this. So now whenever I spawn, it spawns in a random point every single time. So, and as you can see, well, they like to collide. So looks like it's all working out pretty good. Looks like we're throwing an error right now. Player move. We're throwing an error at 26. Does the enemy prefab have health on it? It does not. So that's our problem right there. We can just drag our health over there. It should work just fine. So now we got all of our enemies following us. As you can see, sometimes you can ram them and knock them over and stuff. That's not good. We don't want that. So how we can fix that is in our enemy move. We can just do transform dot Euler angles equals vector equals vector 3 0 0 0. So it just locks it right away, and then it'll change the y on how we move, and I can put that in this one too. Did I save the enemy script? So that should help with that. Recording timed out. Alright, so that should work better. One thing that's still going to happen though. Oh, I just killed myself. Lost. Spawn a bunch real quick. Is they collide into each other. And I particularly don't really. I guess it's not really a problem, to tell you the truth. One thing I'm going to change. Shoot. As you can see, they're floating on top of each other, so that's not good. How we're going to change that is simply, let's see, in our enemy prefab, we're going to take our cube, we're going to turn off, we're going to get rid of this box collider because we don't need it. And another thing, what we're going to do in our enemy is we're going to change our collider a little bit. We're going to change the radius to like 0.1. You can't see it, but if I turn off the render real quick, you can see it's just a lot smaller. Actually, I don't want to do that. That's not a good idea. How do we want them to not fall on top of each other? What we're going to do is we're just going to change. So if there's an enemy in front of it, how do they even fall on top of each other in the first place? Spawn a bunch of them. Just make sure they're not floating right now. Oh, I think I'm gonna die. Just give me more health. I don't even know. I think the cubes. I think that fixed it once I turned off the cube renderer or the collider. So that works a lot better. Obviously, you can tell we're not doing enough damage because yeah, it should just be like a one-hit kill. So next, let's work on spawning them more often. So let's go back to our spawning, and we can just leave this manual here for right now. But let's have a variable called round total. And that is going to be an int. And then we're going to declare a timer, spawn timer. That's going to be equal to 0.0, and that can also be a private variable. Next, we're going to do a spawn speed, which is just going to be a random when the next spawn is going to be, and we'll just do 0.05. We're going to spawn all of them pretty fast in the beginning of the game, so they're pretty much walking around right away. But we do want some separation between every single one of the spawns. Alright, next thing, we need to know how long till the next spawn, because we want it random. So we'll just do next spawn. Alright, so that looks all good. In our start function, we're gonna figure out what our next spawn is. Our next spawn is gonna be equal to time.time plus spawn speed times a random value from point, say, 3 to 1. Alright, so we got our next spawn. And we can get rid of this, and in here we'll just do spawn timer we don't actually need. Look at that. And we can make our next spawn private. So if next spawn is greater than time.time, we're going to spawn. We're also going to find a new next spawn. And what else? We're going to minus our round total minus. So it'll just -1 from that. And here we're going to do if round total is greater than 1 or equal to 1. Alright. So if there's still more to be spawned in the round total, it's going to keep spawning them until the round total is to 0. Alright, so let's go and check this out, see if it works. And I believe this is undercase. What's going on? Next spawn. Time. I wonder what's going wrong here. Spawn speed. This doesn't have anything to do with it, but what is wrong in this thing? Alright, my bad. This value is actually range, like that. So there we go. So now if we go ahead and play this, I set the round total to 20, so you can see they spawn really fast. So yeah, that's probably a little too much. So let's go ahead and put that to 2, and let's spawn another 20. Why isn't it spawning any? Let's see. Round total is greater than 0. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. That should fix it. And now our response speed is really slow. Alright, so change this to like 0.1 maybe. Still pretty fast. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. We got some random zombies spawning, and it all looks pretty good. Being able to look in every single direction is kind of overpowering. They can only go in X and Y, but X and Z, that's fine for right now. Let's see. Do I want to change this? Should we have it snap to certain things? I'm gonna experiment with that, and I'll be right back and see how that goes. So I did it. I don't know if I like it more or if I like it less. Considering that you can go in all 3 directions at the same, or 2 directions at the same time, it kind of makes it a little hard, and it kind of hurts just to try to think about controlling. So if you guys want it this way, put it in the comments below, and I'll change it if you like it. Otherwise, we're just gonna revert to the other one. So, right. So I just changed it back, and we're back to this. So I mean, it's a little overpowered, but maybe we can just make them harder, and there'll be more than one type of zombie, or whatever the thing is. So, or we can always change their movement script if we don't like it too. I don't like how you have to click every time you shoot, so we're gonna go ahead and add an automatic, so you can just hold it down and it'll fire for you. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's open up our player move script. And right here, we're gonna change this to when you push down, your fire is gonna equal true, and your fire timer is gonna equal 0.0. All right, and we're going to get rid of this. We're gonna copy this, and now when mouse button dot up, so when you release, fire is going to be false. So you're not going to be firing anymore. So up here we can go firing, function, firing, and we can just do if firing. We're going to do it. We need to declare those variables. So var firing equals false, and fire timer equals 0.0. Just make sure I about, oh, it's fire. Change these to firing. Alright, so now in our firing script, we're gonna do fire timer plus equals time.delta time. If fire timer is greater than fire speed, we're going to reset our fire timer. To 0.0, and we're also going to fire. Right? Also, what we're going to do is we want it to fire still on the button down, so we're just going to change this and make this equal to fire speed plus 1. So it'll always fire. And we need to declare our fire speed. Let's just do like 0.4 seconds. See how that goes. We can make this a private variable along with this. So let's go ahead and play this. So now I am able to hold down, and this is a pretty good speed for a pistol. Works pretty nice. This will also help for when we say put in more guns. So I can go ahead and pause this, make more, and let's change our fire speed to say like 0.1. And now we're firing a machine gun. So that's pretty cool. You don't have to keep clicking. Alright, so next, what's the next thing we should do? Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to do score. So when you kill the person, it'll add to your skill, or your score. Another thing we're going to add is in our health script, we're going to make a variable called player, and we're going to make it false. So if you're not a player, it'll destroy you. Else, we don't want to kill you. We just want to, for right now, we'll just say you died. Alright, so we don't want to destroy ourselves every single time. What were we going to do? Oh yeah, score. So when you kill an enemy, we want it to add score to you. So before you die, we're gonna tell, we're gonna make a variable called point total, and this is simply going to be how much that zombie or whatever the player is worth. So we're going to make a static variable in the player move, which is going to hold this, so we can access it. So we'll do static variable score, and this is going to be equal to 0. And I'm making these integers. So now we're going to do player move dot score plus equals point total. Right? And let's go ahead and make a GUI function on our player move real quick so we can actually see our score. So function.GUI, and we're just going to quickly make a GUI box. So GUI.box rec, and then we're going to define where it's going to be. So we're going to put it in the upper left, 0, 0, and then we'll just make it 100 pixels wide and 100 pixels or 50 pixels high. 100 pixels wide, 50 pixels height. Right, and then we're just going to say score, and then we're going to add our score. Alright, so now we should have our score in the upper corner, and if we go ahead and play this, you can see my score is racking up. Now we want it to kind of display every time you shoot, so like say you kill one of these enemies, a little 100 will pop out of them, and you'll be able to see that. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Script. We are going to do that right now, and how we are going to do it is I was going to do it with a font 3D text, but changing the alpha on the material, it just wasn't working out because how the font materials are set up in Unity. So we are going to do instead a particle. So it's going to be similar to the milestone flash, but shouldn't give me a problem. Done it before. Alright, so let's go ahead and make like a +100 sign. So let's just open up Photoshop real quick. Go File, New, and we are just gonna make this we can just make it 512 to 512, and then we are going to add a text, and we're just gonna do +100. You can do whatever font you want. We're actually gonna change this to 256 by 256. Proceed. This font, BN Machine, that's gonna work for me. Oops. 120. There we go. And you can make it whatever color you want. You can do whatever you want. This is just what I'm gonna do for time purposes and stuff. So we'll go ahead and save this in our materials, and we'll just do +100. We'll just do 100. Alright, let's go back to Unity. Let's go ahead and put a plane in here. And let's make our material 100. That's what we'll just name it. We'll go ahead and attach that to our plane. Change our diffuse to particle additive, and that's not what we want. Particle multiply. There we go. Particle multiply. And now we're not going to want this big, so we can go ahead and scale this down. That's even probably going to be too big. So 0.2 should work. Alright, so that looks fine. We'll just call this one, or viz score. Right, and then we will make a prefab for that. Let's go into our health script, and oops, I already have this put, but we're gonna make a variable called text prefab, and we're also gonna make instantiate right here, which I just copied off our other ones and replaced some of the things. We're gonna instantiate at our position plus a little bit because we want it up, and that should work for that. So in our enemy script, we can just drag our viz score in there. So now if we go ahead and play this, you can see them spawning. Obviously not how we want, but yeah. So let's go ahead and create a new JavaScript. And let's call this viz score. And we just want this to have a time start. And it's just going to be equal to 0.0. And we're going to instantiate in the start, and it's going to equal time.time. So whenever it was made, I guess. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to have it look at the camera. So transform.look at game object find. I stopped focusing and I started typing blabble. We're just going to do main camera, because that's what our camera is called, .transform. Alright, so that looks good, and then we're just going to destroy it. We're actually going to +1, so it's going to last for a second. If time plus or is greater than time start, we're going to destroy the object. Alright, so let's go ahead and play this real quick. What's wrong? Alright, there we go. So now, we didn't attach the script, so go ahead and attach that. And it seems like, yeah, alright, so you can see them but as you can tell, our it's not looking in the right direction whatsoever. How we can fix that is simply by we're going to add an empty to this. We're going to call this score, and we're going to name this text. Do I want to do that? Yeah, this will be fine. And remove that script and attach that there. Put this up, zero our text out, and as you can see, this is our front, so we're just going to rotate this along the X 90 degrees. And now, okay, sorry about that. My roommate came in, so I had to stop recording. Right, so I played it before I started recording again, and we did not change the prefabs. So we can just make sure this prefab is the same as that one. So we can just delete that, drag this one in, and then put this one on our text prefab. Now if we go ahead and kill people, we can see our 100 goes ahead and looks directly at us, which is nice, which is what we want. Cool, cool. Alright, now instead of having them just disappear right away, let's have them kind of fade out. And how we're going to do that is pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and do we're going to do material or render dot material dot color dot alpha minus equals time dot delta time. Alright, so now let's see how fast that fades out. Might be a little too fast, or it might not fade out at all because, well, you know, we need to declare a variable called text and have that be a transform, and then make this be text dot render. Now in our viz score, what do you want? Settle down. All right. Now in our viz score, we want our text to be our text. Go ahead and apply that, and we still don't have fading because, you know, it doesn't have a color property. Okay, let's go ahead and look at our materials, and it doesn't have a color property. Look at that, it was right. So since none of the particles that work have a color, this main color, and I don't want to write a shader, so I don't really know how to write it very good, so we're just going to have it shrink instead, which will work fine. So instead of the render, the alpha, we'll just do transform dot local scale minus vector 3 0 1 comma 1. And let's see how that works. Might shrink a little fast, but or it's just going to, you know, inverse and get huge. Looks like it goes a little too fast before it even starts doing the whole inverse thing. So what we can do is divide this by like 2. Now if I go ahead and play this, you can see it shrinks a lot better. And a plus to this, we don't need this time start. And what we can do is just check the local scale.x, and if the local scale.x is less than 0, we're going to destroy it. So we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so they just shrink, which is cool. You don't, I mean, I don't really like them shrinking right away, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly write a piece of code that doesn't do that. And for that we need a timer again. Guess what? And we can just do timer plus equals time dot delta time. Timer is greater than say 0.5 seconds. It's gonna start shrinking it. So there we go. So now it kind of stays big and then it shrinks. So that's cool. Looks good. Alright. Let's check on our time here quick. Like that's all we got for this time. We'll pick up next time, and I'm not exactly for sure what we're going to work on. Might jump into some Blender modeling and start working on our actual level, maybe. That's a possibility. So I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you subscribe and like, by the way. That'd be great.